Hi everyone, it's Nico from the blog documentingsimpleliving.com, where I talk about learning to live a bit more simply in the modern world. Today I am sharing a vanilla sourdough cake recipe. It's someone's birthday in our family, as you can probably tell by the balloon, and I thought that I would make a sourdough cake for them. I'm gonna make it with chocolate icing as well, with cream cheese chocolate icing, I think. The first thing I'm going to do is to add 2 cups of organic all-purpose flour to a bowl. And combine with that a 1/2 cup of sourdough starter, a 1/2 cup of coconut oil, and 1 cup of water. Once everything is combined, you want to put this bowl on your counter and cover it with a damp tea towel or plastic wrap or beeswax wraps or even a plate that will cover the entire top of the bowl. The goal is to ensure that the batter won't dry out too much, and so I tend to use a damp tea towel, and then you want to leave it on your counter overnight or about 6 to 8 hours. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 eggs into the batter. If you find that it's difficult to incorporate your eggs and other ingredients into your batter after you've allowed it to ferment, one tip is to set it next to a warm stove for a little while to allow the coconut oil to melt again, because sometimes what will happen is that the coconut oil will become solidified and it will make it difficult to incorporate other ingredients into the batter. So if you let it melt for a little while, it should be a bit easier to incorporate eggs and other ingredients into your batter. Now I'm going to add 1/2 cup of maple syrup, one 1/2 cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Don't worry about remembering all of these ingredients. There's a full recipe card that you can print off on documentingsimpleliving.com, and I'll leave a direct link to that post in the description below. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Mix that in. Now the base of this cake is only sweetened by maple syrup and not very much, and so the sweetness of this cake will largely come from the icing, which is powdered sugar and cream cheese and butter, and it's just delicious and very sweet. So if you're gonna make this recipe, just know that the base of the cake will be sort of that dense and moist sourdough flavor, and then the icing will be what will really sweeten up the cake. Okay, so now I'm going to grease a cake pan with some coconut oil. Now I'm going to pour the cake batter into my cake pan and put it into the oven for about 25 minutes. While the cake is baking, I'm going to get started on the frosting. As promised, it is a very decadent frosting. We're using cream cheese and cocoa powder, butter, and icing sugar. Now, to be honest, I usually, when I make icing, just kind of throw it all together, but I'm gonna do my best to have a measurement. So what I'm going to do is add about 1.5 packs of cream cheese to my pot, and 1 pack is 180 grams, about 1.5 cups of cream cheese. I'm gonna add about 2/3 cup of cocoa powder. I only have a little bit left, so I'm gonna just pour in the rest. A little bit more than 2/3 cup. I'm gonna add about 100 grams of unsalted butter. And I'm gonna add about 2 cups of powdered sugar. Now I'm going to melt this all together until it's incorporated on the stovetop. So the vanilla sourdough cake should last about 2 to 3 days on your counter in an airtight container, or of course you could freeze it in a freezer safe container that's airtight, and if you do that it'll last about 6 months. One thing I like to do is to pre-slice it and then put some parchment paper between each slice of cake so it is easier to thaw individual pieces out. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I will speak to you in the next Documenting Simple Living video.